Hey, to all my female baggage droppers out there, I have a question for you. Do you like gold or silver? Well, at Brienne and Company Jewelry Store, you can find anything that you like. That's right. Brienne and Company is a jewelry boutique that has durable minimalist jewelry. She uses genuine pearls, local shells and sea glass, natural gemstones, and of course, precious metals. And these are all quality handcrafted designs by Brienne Light herself. Go and visit her at her website, brienneandco.com, or go to her Instagram that's always popping at Brienne and Company. Thanks, Brienne. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all of my baggage droppers around the world, welcome to another episode of the Drop Your Baggage podcast, where we talk to people that are dope, that can give you hope, and teach you a technique that can help you cope. This is me, your guest, Charles Woolfork, the self-talk engineer, and I am here with the phenomenal Meghan Conley. Now, Meghan is from Chicago, Illinois. Now, Meghan is a mindset manifestation and expansion expert and coach who specializes in unblocking subconscious limiting beliefs, deprogramming old belief systems, and expansion into alignment with your authentic self through mind, body, and soul techniques. This lady is fire right here. She likes to rock climb and do other outdoor activities, and she's not a bad cook too. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you Meghan Conley. What's up, Meghan?
Hi, thank you so much. That was such a wild, amazing introduction. I appreciate all the energy.
I suppose you're just a wild and amazing person.
I guess so.
So for all the for the few people that don't know you out there, please tell them some more about you.
Yeah, so I'm a mindset coach, and I really focus on helping people clear, whatever's standing in their way mentally from being able to achieve whatever they want. So a lot of times people will think that it's like money, or it's the relationship, or it's their living situation that really stops them from being able to go after what they want.
Yeah.
But it's all the excuses, it's all the limiting beliefs that we have programmed in us, and we don't even know that that's happening. And so I really enjoy helping people to clear that so that they can see who they really are. I guess my story is that I got into this work really organically and randomly. I was working in corporate for 7 years, and it was fine. I thought it was good. I was making a lot of money, but towards the end of it, I started to just get really annoyed and frustrated with all the work that I had to do. I remember getting mad when someone would send me an email. I was getting to this point where I'm like, I don't want to do this at all. And so I left to become a health coach because I was really into nutrition and exercise and health at the time. And I was going through my own kind of personal health struggles. So I was going to school for that. And when I left my job, I started health coaching. Well, what happened was during COVID, my job was like, we're either going to furlough you or you can leave. And so I left. I was already in school, so I was like, I might as well just start. So I started a lot earlier than I was, I guess, planning or ready to. And once I started health coaching, I really started to realize that you can give people all of the resources and all of the education, and you can regurgitate everything that you've learned. But in order for them to actually change their lifestyle and change their habits and all of that kind of stuff, it all starts in the mind. And if your mind isn't in the right place, the changes that you're making aren't going to stick. And so you're not really going to get what you want, right? So I actually was in the process of trying to grow my business, and I came across this coaching program that was really focused on how to, grow your business. But on the other hand, there was a lot, I would say about 80% of mindset work weaved into it. So it was really we're going to teach you how to grow your business, but we're actually going to show you that it's your mind that's stopping you from growing your business. So yeah, it was really amazing. This was like where I had all of my revelations started to come up. I started to realize like the mind is stopping me. So as I was working through my mental blocks, I was seeing how beneficial it was, and I was feeling this huge shift in my life. And so I just started like weaving that into my current coaching sessions with my clients. So they signed up for health coaching and we started there, and then they ended up getting mindset coaching, which, you know, if you ask any of them, they're like so grateful for it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So that's like how I discovered, you know, all of this work. And since then, it's just been a lot of experimentation with different kinds of tactics, different spirituality methods, all that I'm experiencing for myself to help change my own life. Mm-hmm. And then whatever I learn, I take like these little pieces and I mesh them together. And then that's the program. That's like what I offer. It's cool. It's awesome that I can like create something that is a perfect blend of all the things that have transformed my life, and that I know for a fact have made a difference.
What was holding you back? What did you find that was holding you back? I mean, of course it was your mindset, but like what specifically?
Yeah, a lot of it was fear of rejection, which I think we're going to talk about today. I haven't totally cleared that one. I mean, it's definitely gotten better, but as you know, it's a slow burn, right? It takes a lot. So, definitely fear of rejection, which was stopping me from like putting myself out there, in terms of marketing, reaching out to people that I knew would be interested, but I was afraid they were going to tell me no. Right. With money, like with how much I was charging, I was way undervaluing myself because I was afraid that what I was offering wasn't good enough. And that I've completely cleared, which is awesome.
Yeah, that feels so good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like that. Because I mean, I know I struggled with that for years. You've heard my story as far as me not meeting my father and everything. So always felt like I was good enough. And I got into relationship after relationship and friendship after friendship where they just proved my subconscious belief that was true. You know what I mean? That I'm not good enough. And then after you set your after you get rid of the limiting beliefs and you can set your boundaries and you can raise your standards and you can have higher expectations of yourself and others, man, it's the most phenomenal feeling in the world, isn't it?
Everything shifts. Yeah. And I think the craziest part about, you know, doing the business program was every issue that I would bring up would be something that was happening in my business, but it was always related to something in my personal life. It always came back to like something that I was going through or something that I had always struggled with, you know, since I was younger, which is how it happens. But I didn't at the time, as I'm getting coached, I'm just like, oh, it's not even really about my business at all. It's just about the way that I show up in the world in general.
Real talk.
Wow.
Everything's spiritual. Yeah. And, you know, and my experience is the more in alignment that you are with your spirit and the creator and with yourself, the more that you're in alignment with everything else, whether it be with your health, your relationships, your career and business, everything just goes in alignment once you go inside and you make sure that you heal those internal wounds, those emotional wounds. And two, once you have faith that you are like a divine expression of the creator, you know?
Yeah, I think connecting to your soul is like, I don't think you can do this work without that. I just don't think it's possible because that was a huge thing I actually had to go through was like, what do I believe in? Because I grew up in a Catholic household. And I told you this, but my dad passed away when I was 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And so my mom was very connected to the church and still is.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just a huge saving grace for her. And for me, I went to Catholic school my whole life. Like it was something that I never really chose. It was just, how was I going to choose? I was so young, I didn't even know. But when I started to, I stopped believing in anything eventually, because I was just like, I don't think I believe in this. I don't know if this is for me. And I don't want to follow something that I don't know that I believe in yet.
So like agnostic or atheist?
I think I wouldn't even give it a label. I would just say it wasn't that I didn't believe. I just was like, I'm not going to practice a religion. I'm just going to live my life. And then, maybe eventually I'll figure it out. And when I started doing this mindset work, I realized it was like necessary for me to really sit down and sit with myself and ask myself, like, what is it that I believe? And the more that I got into like spirituality and doing spiritual practices, I started to develop my own religion, my own sense of like what spirituality means to me, because I do think it's different for everybody. I mean, I'm sure that you've had spiritual experiences that are 110% different from what I've had.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think it's just like at the core of it, what I have come to discover and believe is that spirituality is just connecting with yourself, right? You like you were saying, your true aligned self. And that's the guiding force. And if you believe that you are the divine, and you believe that, the universe exists and you're part of the universe and you're a reflection of the universe, then like it's all the same thing.
100%.
So that was really huge. Like I had to come to that in order to really break through the mindset stuff in the physical world.
100%.
Right.
I see that the relationship with the creator, and that's the thing, it's all different types of nicknames for something that we've never seen.
Right.
I mean, we see it every single day. I see it right now, but we have never seen have this, like, there's, because Christians think that there's like a heaven and like there's a God and there's Jesus, but I see the universe, but I don't see a physical thing that is affecting me in the quantum field. And you know what I mean? Yes. So like, as I digress, this relationship that we have with the creator is on an individual basis type of thing. My relationship with my mom is different than your relationship with my mom, or with my mom. You know what I mean? Like you don't even know my mom.
Right. Yeah.
Like, and it's that's the thing, my mom has a relationship with the creator. You have a relationship with the creator. I have a relationship with the creator. And it doesn't matter what your relationship is, as long as you find that comfort in that. You know what I mean?
I feel like that's one of the reasons why I really don't knock anybody for whatever they follow, but I think it's so important that each individual person does that individual work and can come to that individual understanding of it, because it's not just this is how, it's not just like this is how it is and this is how it's like my whole thing with God, right? I'm trying to reframe my relationship with that word, because I grew up believing that it was this like guy, in the clouds that's just like picking us up and moving us around and controlling everything. And to me, now that I've done my own exploration, I'm like, oh, God is just me. Like I am God. Like that's, you know what I mean? But I still have a hard time even saying the word God in context, because I feel like it puts your the control and like your, I don't want to say faith. It just puts all of like your, I guess, faith and control in this thing that's outside of you. And I really, if you believe God is in you, God is you, God is divine, you know, it's the divine, it's the universe, whatever you want to call it. Like, to me, that's in me. So I'm not going to talk about it like it's outside of me. That makes sense.
100%. I also believe that I am God. In the sense that you see this fingernail, this fingernail is me. You know what I mean? It does its own thing. I don't, do anything. It just does its own thing. You know what I mean? Through the body and the subconscious, it grows. And I do what I can to be a blessing to it. I clean it out and I clip it. You know what I mean? It's like, so I feel like I'm like I said, a divine expression of the creator, but also I am the creator, as in a piece of it, like it created me out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yes, I do. I get it. For sure. And it's so funny talking about this kind of stuff because it's like you feel like you're not making sense, but if you understand it, you really are.
Yeah. And also with that, I started saying the creator. Because there's a guy named TD Jakes. He's a wonderful pastor. Shout out to Bishop TD Jakes. And he said that it doesn't care what you call it. It doesn't care. It like if we were to actually experience and witness it, it would blow our mind of what it actually is. It blows my mind just reading about it. You know what I mean? In different books and literature, it blows my mind with how powerful that it is, but how powerful we are as well. Like, and to actually experience the miracles of life, it blows my mind. You know what I mean? So like saying the creator or whatever it may be, it's all that thing that I had to redevelop my relationship with the universe and God, because I was a Christian. I really dug into that. And I really appreciate the parables and the stories of the Bible. You know what I mean? It means so much to me, whether it be the faith of Abraham and David, or the wisdom of Solomon, or it's just the love of Jesus. You know what I mean? Like that stuff really has shaped my faith, and give me something like, okay, it's a blueprint. This person did this. Like, I know David did this, so don't do that. But I know that this is how Jesus loves, so you can do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, yes, it's kind of like being in a long-term relationship, and then looking at your partner and saying, we need to do something different. We need to grow in a different way together. So whether we call the creator Elohim or Allah or divine spirit, infinite intelligence, doesn't matter, It doesn't matter as long as we see that we look in the mirror and see that it's also us.
Exactly. Right. And I think this is a really important point with this kind of work too, because it's the same thing. Like, we grow up and we're raised a certain way. We all have these different experiences. We all process things differently, but we're all put through the same systems essentially. And like school, for example, or, you grow up with a type of religion or without one. It's just, there's a lot of different kinds of things that we go through. And I think that in order to tap into your true self, to find and discover who your authentic aligned self is, you kind of have to question all of that. And you have to ask yourself, okay, what do I really believe in and why? And how does it all make sense to me? And how does it feel to me? And that's a lot of work that I'm like really starting to incorporate into my sessions. It's like there's limiting beliefs that were created that need to be cleared, but there's also this programming that happened that we have to really take a deep look at. And for some of us, it's like in some situations we need to stop and just like let things kind of unfold. Like with the whole spirituality thing, it was helpful for me to just stop and say, I'm going to figure this out on my own, you know? But it's the same with anything, like even just the standard of beauty out there. You know, you have all these people, and I'm a victim to it too, like over exercising and like under eating and restricting so that you can look a certain way, or, you know, getting all this work done so you can look a certain way and fit into this certain standard. And, you know that it gives you this temporary high, but at the end of the day, how fulfilled are you, and how sustainable is it? You have to find like, what's your standard of beauty?
Yeah.
You know, what's your version of spirituality? What's your idea of success? Like all of that stuff has to be redefined individually, I think, to get connected to who you are.
100%. There's a lot of the programming that goes on, and we all have to, you know, experience it. We all experience it from day one because of our parents, you know, our parents in the community that we live in, you know, from Chicago to Cincinnati. It's all we're all put in this place to where we have to kind of survive. We have to survive by getting along with our environment. I had to walk around crackheads and crack dealers, and I had to, you know, listen to gunshots, you know what I mean? And you probably grew up with a totally different experience as a child. And then you have, after a while, you have to break out and expand from that old environment, from those old systems, like you said, whether it be school or spirituality and religion, or like pop culture in general, you know, like trying to be a part of that zeitgeist of the trends. We don't, it's crazy because we can get so trapped in it because of all the distractions that are around now. I was distracted as a kid with television and video games, and now it's all about the cell phone, you know what I mean, and Netflix. And you have to break out of that and like stay within yourself. And once you, like you said, start asking those questions of, why am I a part of that system? What does that truly mean to me? Am I happy with that system? And you know, it's like and also realizing you can make your own system.
Yes, you should.
Yeah, hell yeah. You know, like you could totally go out and do what the hell you want to do. You know?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's like this idea that, you know, it's all about the way that you look at it. It's all about your perception, right? And if like social media, for example, it could be a very like triggering experience every single time that you open up your app and you're going through it and you're constantly comparing yourself and you're constantly handing over your self-worth to this app, right? It happens so easily, but you can also, when you do the self-work, you can get to this point where you're like, oh wait, no, this isn't that. This is a vehicle to helping me connect with people. This is a vehicle to expressing my true self. Like there's two different ways you can approach all of these things. So it's not, to me, it's like, it's about breaking apart the system and understanding it, but then learning how to be your true self and operate like hovering over it almost. Like I see what you're doing and I see what the purpose of you is, but I'm going to be my true self regardless. You know what I mean?
It's and it's so much easier said than done. Like I just know from my experience in high school and in college, and you know, my from my marriage that didn't work out. Like when you're in it, you just you have these blinders on. You're caught in this augmented reality, right?
Yes.
You're in this alternate reality of where this is all real. And like where Facebook is real, where these relationships are real, where people's opinions of you matter. And when you truly feel, when you see right through it, when you see like none of that shit matters at all. like at all. Whether I
At
tell,
all.
you know, when I substitute at schools, I tell the middle schoolers, look around you. 90% of this class won't be communicating with you in the next 8 years, yo.
I love that. That's awesome.
Right?
Yeah, you're hitting them with some real shit.
Yes. So and with social media, it's all very fleeting. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even with friendships, like friendships can come and they can go. And we all change. It's about adapting to those changes and making sure that you're solid within yourself. And that takes there's some deprogramming, like you said in your intro.
Mm-hmm.
That deprogramming is I found it was one of the most difficult things to do by going through therapy, going to conferences, reading the books, doing the
Yeah.
habit change. It's a constant work for somebody that doesn't have the techniques.
Yeah, oh, yeah, for sure, because the techniques are not taught at all.
Hell no.
None of it,
No
right?
way.
And so that's why I think it's so cool when you like come in contact with people that are doing this kind of work, because you know that they found it within themselves. So you
Mm-hmm.
know that it's like, that's so cool to me, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's not something that you copied, it's something that's like really developed inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. And that's why I think it is so important for people that want to do this work that they work with somebody.
Yes.
Like I have a mindset and spirituality coach. I
Mm-hmm.
need it because I want to keep growing and I want to keep expanding, and I still have triggers come up. Like no matter how much I do this work, some triggers still come up and I need help.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I'm a mindset coach and I have all of these tactics and techniques to get me out of it, sometimes that doesn't even work because I can't get out of my own way.
Right. Right.
You know?
I like my mentors are so much to me because they show me the way. Hey, you know what? You're trying to see the sunset, but you're headed east. I'm like, oh, like the way that coaches and mentors can put you back on the path that you need to, or just know the path and say, hey, this is where you need to go.
Yeah.
Man, it's the most beneficial thing that I've ever had. And that goes from me now being a self-talk engineering coach to even when I was a kid, the mentors that I had, the coaches and the uncles and the bosses that I had that really helped raise me. It's the thing that really I don't know where I would be without it. I would still be lost. I'd probably be in Cincinnati with about 17 kids. You know what I mean? That's a crazy job.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's like a huge piece, the support piece, and not even just from coaches, but even just like having conversations like this, where you're like, oh, there's someone out there that's across the country that's doing the same thing, that understands this, that gets this. Like I have this group of girlfriends who we just all got together virtually like 6 months ago. And now we meet every other week for like 3 hours. We'll just talk. And we're all just like, we're all in different areas of spiritual work or started our own business or whatever. And we just like come together and just have these like really cool conversations.
Yeah.
And I've met one of the girls in person. I've never met anybody else in person. And I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
That like that support, just knowing every other week I'm going to like get to talk to these girls and just feel like I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Because this work is not being done by a lot of people. So you just feel really alone sometimes.
Yeah.
And having that support, it's just like, okay, like it's just a reassurance, you know, I'm on the right track. I'm doing the right stuff. My work is important to me. It matters to other people. Like it's helpful. It's
that mastermind principle that Napoleon Hill talks about in Think and Grow Rich. And it's also, it's meeting fellow, I call us like Harriet Tubmans. So what was so great about Harriet Tubman is that she ran from, I think, Maryland. Yeah, she ran from Maryland to Philadelphia. Okay. which is the
Mhm.
craziest thing ever. I didn't even know like slavery was that far north. First of all, you always think like, oh, at Ohio, slavery stops. But like, no, Harriet Tubman is one of the most famous, most well-known slaves, freed slaves, well, runaway slaves, and or let's say women that were slaves. How about that? And it was so far north. Anyway, as I digress, Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman, she went back. She saw the freedom, and then she went back to get her family and friends and others. And it's like that's how I feel now. Like I
Mm.
remember feeling so trapped by my mind and so boggled down, and you could say even say enslaved by systems. And now to break free of all that, to break free of all that through my with my subconscious mind, I have to. I feel like I got to go back, and I have to make sure that as many people are freed with me and experience this life without their limiting beliefs and negative emotions.
I have a question for you
Yep.
because this is something that I totally agree with you on, and I feel that within me the same way.
Yeah.
But my question is, do you feel like, you sometimes are going after people that aren't ready for it? How do you do that? Like, how do you go after people that and try and bring them to freedom when they don't know what freedom is?
I stopped. I tried. I try to stop reaching for people that aren't ready. And you know when they're ready when they're actively looking for something.
Mm-hmm.
When they're actively looking for something and they're showing up for their divine appointments, that's when you know that they're like I don't ask for referrals. I don't ask for referrals anymore because
Yeah,
usually it's like, oh, this person needs this. I don't want the person that needs it. I want the person that desires it, that wants
yeah,
it.
I agree
You know
for
what I
sure.
mean? Like going after the
Yeah.
person that needs it
That's
is
so much work.
it
It's
is.
so hard.
It's as hard as hell,
It's
yo.
exhausting.
For real. For real. It's
Yeah.
like because that person has no guiding light. That person has no vision of anything but they have right now. They can't see past what they I mean, you don't know what you don't know. Right. And
Right.
they just don't have the consciousness of a better life through getting rid of their limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
So it's like, why even wait for that person? And when that person is ready and they remember, oh yeah, Megan said that I can reach out to her when I'm ready,
Yeah.
then that's when it's all smooth. But man, like trying to convince somebody that they need something,
Oh my God. Yeah.
I
It's so
that's
hard.
hell nah, hell
It's
nah.
hard. It's hard. I definitely struggled with this in the beginning of my business a
Mm-hmm.
lot because I was like, I want to help everybody and I want
Yeah.
to help the people that need it the most,
Mm-hmm.
that are in these like really dark holes. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I think I was probably doing that from my own subconscious need to
Yep.
prove myself.
Yep.
So that was something that I had to work on and let go. But at the same time, it's like
It's real.
you see a lot of people struggling, and you're like, well, I have this gift and this
Mm-hmm.
knowledge, and I know that I can help them. But at the same time, yeah, it's like it's so exhausting. It's like you're
Yeah.
just giving, 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 giving
Yeah.
and not receiving anything. There's no like value exchange. And
Exactly.
it's just depletes you.
Mm-hmm. That's why I turned to a more high ticket offer because
Mhm.
those people are willing to invest in themselves.
Yeah.
And I made the investment into college because I invested into myself. I made the investment into going through 3 levels of NLP courses because this it meant something to me.
Yeah.
So this the investment, whether it be big or small, you have to make some type of investment. And the bigger the investment is, the more the person is going to care about it and utilize it in the long
Yeah.
run as well.
The investment piece is huge. It's
Huge.
huge. That was like that was the first limiting uh belief or limiting block that I
Mm.
worked through ever was the investment into the program that
Mm.
changed my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I remember even having the conversation with the woman who was inviting me into the coaching group, and I remember saying like, if I do this and it doesn't work, I'm not going to be able to pay my rent.
Oh,
Like
shit.
that was where it was at.
Yeah.
And so I had to go through this really big mental thing
Mm-hmm.
where everyone in my life that I was talking to about doing this program was like, don't do it. You know, and but I felt in my heart, I'm like, well, what if I don't do it?
Yeah.
Nothing's going to change.
Right.
I'm going to be exactly where I am.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like, I needed to invest that money in myself. And it's like literally the day that I did it, I signed a high ticket client, my first high ticket client.
Boom.
I was like, this is okay.
Yeah. Yes.
This is how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to put this investment in yourself.
Yeah.
And then it's going to come right back to you tenfold, you know?
The law of circulation, yo.
Yeah, but it's stepping into that.
Yeah.
That's the hardest.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Because people have to see the value in it. They have to know that the juice is worth the squeeze. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's another thing too. I'm interested to hear your opinion on this because this is like, I have to see to believe.
Mm-hmm. That's why we're on this podcast right now, yo. That's why we're on this podcast, because people can't believe that you can get rid of a negative emotion or limiting belief in minutes. And I was like, oh yeah? Well, let me prove it to you. And I just was like, I'll show you. So for those that believe in you and like love you and truly connect with you, they're going to rock with you no matter what. Yeah. But other people just have their limiting beliefs. They have their limiting beliefs. So therefore they're not gonna, they need to see. They need to see what's going on, and they need somebody else to experience it that they know or that looks like them in order for them to really believe in it.
Yeah. And that's why I like to call expanders. You know, it's like people that you see that are out there doing what you thought wasn't possible, right? Or people that are like at or were at the same point in their lives as you, right? Like if you look at like Bill Gates, like he's not an expander for me because I can't relate to where he like his journey is so far away from what mine was, right? But if there's like somebody that I know maybe like lost their dad, or somebody that's like been through like the similar health issues or whatever, and they were able to heal themselves, like that to me is like, that's an expander, right? Yeah.
And to play devil's advocate, I think that people like Bill Gates are expanders for different people as well.
100%. Yeah. That have been on that journey. Right. Yeah. It's just, it's like expanders are different for, it's individual.
Exactly.
You know, you have to be able to relate to them, because if you can't relate to them, you can't see that it's possible for you to get where they are.
100%. It's so, and that's why they like in like Black culture, like in African American culture, it's always talked about of having representation. You know what I mean? Because like shows like The Fresh Prince and shows like Good Times, they had the representation on television of something that was bigger than what we were experiencing out there in America. It's like, wow, we're actually on TV, yo.
Yeah.
And having that representation kind of makes you dream. It shows you like, wow, I can have a better life. I can do more than what I'm doing right now. It's sick too. That 100%. That one thing can just boom, take off and change your life.
That's such a great example. I love that. That's honestly, that's huge.
It is.
TV is like celebrities, TV, you know, music, all of that, all of the stuff that people are out there creating. Like it's all opportunities for expansion, right?
100%.
Or opportunities to shrink yourself. I think it's just how you look at it.
100%. Yeah, definitely. It seems like it definitely can be on both ends of the spectrum. Definitely. Now, on the Drop Your Baggage podcast, we talk to people that are dope, that can give you hope and teach you a technique that can help you cope. And it's that time. It's that time. We are going to be releasing a limiting belief or a fear of yours today.
Mhm.
Now, we do this through the mental and emotional release process. I'm going to talk to the audience out there real quick. Now, guys, this is a neuro linguistic programming technique. Please don't try this at home by yourself. Hit me up, charleswoolfork.com. I'm a nice person, I promise. I'll talk to you more about it, and I'll give you directions on it, and I'll definitely give you some more information. And also for you, Megan, I am not a social worker. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a physician in any type of way. I'm just a
Understood.
yeah, 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 yeah. Thanks. It's just like, all
I
right.
actually don't think that you need those kinds of certifications or titles in order to be qualified to do any of this kind of work,
Dude,
but that's just me.
when I heard that for number one, Tony Robbins never had a NLP certification, that blew my mind. And number two, he never went to college. That blew my mind. So I'm like, oh man. And he's like one of the most impactful dudes in the world. And he doesn't have any education.
Yeah, that's just
He's
that
got
programming.
self-education. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's that
100%.
programming. We need to have all this experience. We need to have
Yep.
all these, like, I don't know, certifications and
Mm-hmm.
letters next to our name in order to be important. And that's just not true.
Hell no. Hell no.
So I appreciate that disclosure, because it doesn't matter to me.
That's why you're awesome. And I couldn't wait for this podcast. So, Megan, today are you ready? We're going to release the fear of rejection today. You ready?
I'm ready.
You ready to talk about it a little bit? Talk
ready.
about your fear of rejection.
Oh, just talk about it. Okay.
Yeah, okay. So I want you to talk about how it affects you.
Okay. I think my fear of rejection, yep, it's like all you can like start. I'm feeling it in the body right now, all in my chest and in my throat.
What does it feel like?
It just feels constricted. Like don't say it. Don't say it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, throat is dry, chest is like heavy, almost. I actually felt this the other day. It's like it feels like there's like a shield on my chest and my stomach, and it's like not a part of me, but it's like on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to do this. I guess the fear of rejection is it's stopping me from fully being able to express myself 100% of the time. I would say that I'm pretty good about it most of the time, but there are just moments in my business, I guess with marketing specifically in my business, it's like, am I showing up in a way that's like attractive to people, or am I showing up in a way that is going to get them to listen to me? So there's this like ego piece of me that's just like, I need people to understand what I'm saying, to think that I'm important. And I guess I get a little bit of like perfectionism, OCD type way when it comes to showing up, because I'm afraid that if I show up sloppy or if I show up like not making any sense, right, that I'm just going to be judged, abandoned. Like that's really so maybe rejection, I guess, in that sense, it leads to the abandonment.
Which one is more powerful, fear of rejection or fear of abandonment?
I don't know.
Say it out loud. Fear of abandonment.
Fear of abandonment. Fear of rejection. It feels like they're both like intertwined. They're both like linked together.
Yeah.
Because to me, rejection equals abandonment, I
guess.
Wow.
Okay. All right. That's what your intuition tells you. Then one will help the other big time. Mm-hmm. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
How much money do you think you're leaving on the table because of your fear of rejection?
What do you mean money I'm leaving on the table?
I'm talking about like with you not marketing and doing everything for your business.
Yeah, I would say a lot, probably a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess to me, my brain right now is like, okay, so it's not, it's like the block before showing up. Mm-hmm. 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 That's what it is. That's like unclear and sticky for me. Yeah. What was the question?
How much money are you leaving on the table? Because it's like, yeah. I just think like, you know, the because you're phenomenal, and you being able to just show up and continue to show up and practice showing up and seeing what works and what doesn't work, and not just and like being paralyzed by the fear of rejection is keeping you from testing shit out. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And I feel like it's holding me back from just like release, like just that freedom that you get from just stepping into who you are and showing up as yourself, like without that fear. Amen. I mean? Amen. Yeah, for sure. And also, what other parts of life besides business does it show up for you? I think in my friendships, for sure. Like I have a hard time putting myself out there. Like, for example, I just moved here to Bend, right? In May. And I haven't really put myself out there to meet new people, friends, and form like deep connections or friendships. And a lot of it, this is probably where it's more strong, like than my business, is just me being afraid to just show up in person. That like social anxiety that I sometimes get. I guess that is really like the fear of, oh, this is bringing up a lot for me. Like the fear of just looking stupid, or, people being like, oh, this girl's weird, or she's, I don't get her, or she doesn't know anything. That's like a big one for me, like not being smart enough. Yeah, that I would say it shows up in social situations. And all I want to do when I'm in those situations is just like chill and be myself. But I just like get this, oh, I've got to like say the right thing, and I've got to look the right way, and I've got to do the right stuff. And I don't like that. Because you ain't got to do shit. You got to just, you got to do you, literally. Right. Yeah. But there's that fear that if I do that, then I'm just not going to be liked, and I'm going to be like an outcast. Abandoned. Yeah. So like fear of judgment, abandonment, and not being enough. Yeah. Boom. Rejection. Let's get rid of that shit, huh? Yeah, I would like to. Let's get it. All right. So there's 3 things that you need to do in order for you to have a profound experience. Number 1, you got to use your imagination, just like you apparently do with your room. Number 2, you got to follow directions, just like you follow a good recipe or Google Maps. And number 3 is to trust the process. Know that I'm your guide. I'm going to be leading you through this easily and effortlessly. And I'm come from a place of love and high vibrations. I trust you. Thank you. We're going to create an imaginary timeline. With your imaginary timeline, your past can be to your left, to your right, or behind you. If you were to know, where's your past?
My past is to the left,
Where's your future?
to the right.
Yeah, just like mine. Yeah, real talk. Now, something else that you can do to have a profound experience is you can have empathy for others. Not can, but like it's the best thing that you can. Forgiveness, because once you put yourself in someone else's shoes, then you are able to have empathy and compassion and be humble. Humility is big. So I'd really stress that upon you as well. And for every single event that you go to, it is a trigger that you are releasing. It's a breakthrough that you are having. So go to as many go to as many events as possible, and I'll give you the signal to do that as well.
Okay.
All right. Let's have some fun.
Okay. All right. Let's do it.
Just go ahead and is it all right with your unconscious mind for you to release this fear of rejection today and for you to be aware of it consciously?
Yes.
Awesome. What is the root cause of this problem? The first event, which when disconnected, that will cause this problem to disappear. If you were to know, when was the first time that you experienced this fear of rejection or experienced rejection?
Yeah, I've been through this before, so the same thing is coming up actually, that I thought I cleared.
Mm-hmm.
But when I guess the first time was probably when I was in grade school, and I was best friends with this girl, and I just randomly decided she didn't want to be my friend anymore, or didn't want to be my best friend. And she found a new best friend, and it was very loud about it. And this actually, this repeating patterns, right? This happened to me. This has happened my whole life. Where I get really close to somebody and then they just decide that there's somebody else better and they're loud about it. That's a new thing that's coming up that I haven't accessed before. Yeah. And I just felt like alone and like a loser, like an outcast, for sure. Yeah.
Thank you for being so raw and authentic, yo. Like I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
You know what I mean? I can tell that well, no, seriously, I honor you for that. And I mean for showing up right here, right now. You're showing up.
Yeah.
That's huge. So thank you for that so much. How old were you when this happened?
I think I was in like 5th or 6th grade. I don't know, how old are you when you're in that grade?
Can we a little bit younger, like third or second or younger?
Can I find an experience where I was rejected?
We're gonna get to that experience too, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, shoot.
Nah.
There's like a few things that are coming up, but I don't know if I really felt rejected. I'll just say them though, I guess.
Yeah.
So my sister's was older, and I think, I mean, this like part of my life is so hazy. She When she would have friends over, I would like try and play, and I like try and play with them, and I was like never I was just never like welcomed.
Did you feel rejected?
I think like maybe it's not strong,
It's
like
not
there's no emotional charge to it. So,
the that we're not necessarily looking for something with the most emotional charge.
okay.
We're looking for the root. It's just like so I have a theory that not a theory. I have a belief that the net the negative emotions and limiting beliefs are like a weed, and you have to start at the root
Mm,
cause.
yeah.
Because if you chop it off at the top, say at like fifth grade or last week, then it's gonna do just like a weed. It's gonna keep growing
Yeah,
back.
it comes back for
Yeah.
sure.
But if you deal with that first one, that first time that you felt rejected, whether it be big or small, that's gonna help you have a domino effect. That's going to help you release everything else easily. So if you didn't feel rejected, don't fake it. It's okay. Yeah.
I'm no, I know it's hard. This is a period of time that I blocked a lot out. I mean, this is right after my dad
Oh,
passed away. So there's
right.
a lot of memories that I haven't
Right.
been able to access before.
Understood.
But one thing that is coming up is when I was in kindergarten, I was in this after school program. Like I would
Mm-hmm.
have to take a bus from my school to this after school like Bible preschool
Mm-hmm.
thing that was
Mm-hmm.
close to my house,
Mm-hmm.
and because my mom worked, and so I would go there. Like kindergarten was half day, and then I would go to this school until like 5.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a really big school, and I don't remember having any friends really
Mm-hmm.
there. Um, and I remember, oh God, why is this coming up? This is weird.
There you go.
This is really weird. So, and like embarrassing to say, but I really didn't like that I had to go to this after school program because none of the people that I went to school with did. And I just really felt like um my mom, I don't know. I just felt like, I guess, embarrassed
Mm-hmm.
uh that my mom couldn't pick me up, and I was always like, you know, I was always one of the last people to get picked up.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember telling people, I don't even know, I can't even see their faces, but I remember saying this, that like, yeah, my mom's going to pick me up in a limo and she's going to have chocolate milk ready for me. Like I remember lying and
Mm-hmm.
saying that.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess in a sense, it was like, I don't know how I made that mean something about me and how I was being rejected, but I just think it was like I felt like this isn't. I wanted to fake it. I wanted
Yeah.
to be like, this is, even though she's late picking me up, like I'm gonna get to ride home in a limo and have
Yeah.
chocolate milk.
Yeah. You can go
I
home
was
in
trying
your
to like
Pinto.
yeah, I was trying to like justify the negative feelings that I had about it, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. That's huge. Good one. Good. Thank you so much for digging.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
weird.
All right. All right. So we're gonna start at that event. And please have compassion and empathy for your mom and for your classmates. Cool. All right. So let's have some fun. You can go ahead and close your eyes and relax and let me know when you're ready for the process to drop your baggage.
Okay, I'm
All
ready.
right. Just imagine floating up above your timeline and float to the left and float deeper and deeper and deeper into the past above that first event in which you felt rejected when you were just a little kid at the after kindergarten program. And just hover above that little kid, hover above that little girl, seeing her from a third person point of view, like a fly on the wall. Let me know when you're there.
There.
All right. Now stay right there. Don't move. Now just ask your unconscious mind what it needs to learn from the event, the learning of which will allow you to let go of the emotions easily and effortlessly. Your unconscious mind can preserve the learnings so that if you need them in the future, they'll be there. Just tell your unconscious mind to preserve the learnings.
It's interesting because I'm able to like forgive my mom and to know like she was doing the best that she could. Like there's no like anger or animosity towards that. It's like the me stuff that's hard. Like how
Okay.
it's like, what can I even say to myself to accept my circumstances? Like, why did I feel like I had to lie? Why couldn't I just like, I want to say to myself, like,
Go
just
for it. Say it.
be okay with your present circumstances. Like, you're going to grow up and you're going to be able to have as much chocolate milk as you want. Yeah. And you will grow up and you won't even want the limo. But to me, it's like, those are the things that I said to make myself seem like I wasn't hurting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What else does she need to hear? What else does she need to hear? Is she good enough?
Yeah. Nothing's wrong with her. It's not,
Mm-hmm.
nothing is wrong with her. It's not her fault.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have to prove herself with things, anything, making up stories. Yeah. She's equal to everybody. And
Mm-hmm.
nobody is better or worse, no matter what they say or have. She's equal and she doesn't have to prove herself. That's it. She doesn't have to prove herself.
That's right. That's right. Is she loved?
Yeah.
Without going inside the event, I want you to send her that energy of love. Send her some energy of like a hug, a great sense of energy like that. Send that to her. Let her know she's good enough. Let her know she doesn't have to prove herself to anybody. Yeah. Send her that energy. One more thing. Look look from the your classmates' point of view. Have compassion and empathy for them too. Put yourself in their shoes.
Yeah, that perspective was really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just seeing like everyone was there. We were in an after school program. Like everyone's parents picked them up late. Like everyone was at that same point as me. There was literally no need for me to have to jazz it up. We're all going through the same thing.
Remember that.
Yeah, I feel good about this.
Awesome. Very good. Now, just imagine floating up above your timeline and float deeper and deeper and deeper into the past, above the dinosaurs during the prehistoric age. Let me know when you're above the dinosaurs. Now, as you're above the dinosaurs, just imagine floating deeper and deeper and deeper into space, to where space and the atmosphere connects. And imagine your timeline is the size of a fingernail. Let me know when you're there.
Okay.
All right, listen closely. Flow very, very high above your timeline, above each and every event in which you felt that fear of rejection from birth until now in chronological order. Don't skip one event that has a charge on it. Preserve the learnings and let go of that fear of rejection all the way back to now. Go. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Flow down into your body and open your eyes when you're ready. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. That was I feel good. I feel like there's definitely going to be reinforcement that I have to do with some of these memories because some of them have so much more attached to it, but it's like, yeah, I could just see that I was using these experiences as a way to feel alone and to feel like rejected, you know? But I know it wasn't anything I did. I know that it wasn't anybody else's fault. I know that all I really needed was just like love and to just know that what happened. It doesn't like reflect anything about me. And I'm like I'm connecting all the dots because I'm seeing that like the proving myself thing that started so young. I didn't realize that. And every time that I like lost a friend, I felt like, okay, I had to prove myself more. And I see how that can show up in business too. Every time I lose a client or every time, you know, I just feel like, okay, what can I do to prove myself more? And I see that it's not proving myself is essentially like a lie. Mm-hmm. It's like the chocolate milk and limo, you know, it's like a perfect metaphor analogy. Like it's just anytime that I show up feeling like I have to adjust something or change who I am, it's like that's the limo and the chocolate milk. It's just not the truth.
Wow. That's deep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boom. Boom. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So we're going to test.
Thank you for that.
Of course. Of course. You showed up for your divine appointment. So let's test this out. Can you smell bacon?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I had bacon yesterday.
So I asked that question to get your mind off of the meditation. I want you, or can you remember a time in the past in which you used to feel that old emotion? And go back and notice if you can feel it, or you may find that you cannot.
My mind just immediately takes me to the same memory, but I don't feel the same way.
Mm-hmm. How's your heart and your body?
Yeah, I feel lighter for sure.
Yeah. Do you still feel it like you did so viscerally before?
No.
Cool.
No, I don't feel it at all.
Very cool.
I feel relaxed.
It's trippy, yeah.
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 Yeah, it is.
I want
love this stuff.
Yeah. I want you to imagine going out into the future, to an unspecified time in the future, in which if the same thing would have happened in the past, you would have felt inappropriate or unwarranted. Like you would have felt the fear of rejection.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the future now. So see if you can find that old emotion, or you may find that you cannot. Okay.
Yeah. No, it's just kind of like here's an event that could or should trigger me.
Exactly.
But it's like, oh, not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like as long as I'm myself, it's not a big
Mm-hmm.
deal.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations. You just released a bunch of fear.
Yay.
Yeah, yeah. Feel good?
Yeah, yeah, it does. It's like, yeah, it feels really good. It's just my mind is just racing
Oh
now
yeah.
of
Oh
just
yeah.
all of the moments where I felt that way when it was
Mm.
unwarranted, you
Right.
know.
Right. And I mean, the fear of rejection, is any of it unwarranted, or is any of it warranted?
No.
Yeah, I found that too.
No. Yeah, it's just like it's feeling like you don't fit in, but I think the whole
Yeah.
point is that nobody's meant to fit in. And at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, we're all going through the same stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like there's no way that you can fit in and there's no way that you can't fit in. So it's
Boom.
like there's no such thing.
Right.
It doesn't exist,
Right.
that's gnarly to think about.
Right. What were some of the major lessons that you learned? I mean, you stated many throughout your first experience. Was there anything else that you learned that really made a difference in you releasing the emotions?
I think the big one is that, I'm not alone.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone is going through something. Everybody's going through the same thing or something. And
Mm-hmm.
so if a friend left me for somebody else, that was something that they were going through. It was just
Mm-hmm.
happening in their life. And it's not a reflection of me. And if I can look at that experience and say, well, that wasn't my fault. I didn't do anything wrong. Don't change who you are because of this. Don't try and prove yourself. Don't try and morph. Don't try and lie, right? Like this is just it's just part of your learning. This is who you are. And at some, timeless level, it's like all this stuff was meant to happen so that you could look back and heal it
Yes.
and
Yeah.
see it and now be able to see things as like, okay, potential clients or clients, like everyone's going through something,
Mm-hmm.
everybody. And so there's no reason to hold yourself back. There's no
Mm-hmm.
reason to try and be somebody that you're not
Mm-hmm.
and prove yourself,
Mm-hmm.
because that it pulls away from who you really are and what you've been through. And in some ways, it's like people can relate to you on that level.
And that's the thing. Like, it's crazy how this fear of rejection has now helped you see that we're all in this more together than ever because we're all going through our own shit. Like,
Yeah.
every single person in this world is going through something. You know what I mean? And we're all just doing the best that we can with what we got.
Yeah.
Wow.
Being in the preschool thing was really,
Mm-hmm.
that opened a lot up for me, putting myself in the perspective of the other kids, even though
Yeah.
I can't even see their faces.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I look at it and I'm like, well, Megan, like everybody is sitting here waiting for their parents to pick them up.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
what, everybody has this has this feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But look at, like, we get to hang out with each other and we get to play and you get to connect and you get to learn how to fucking socialize with people at a very young age.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so much better than like having to go home. Oh, now all this stuff is opening up for me, but like so much better to go home than to go home and just like brain out on TV or video games or whatever. Like, you were socializing, you were like, yeah. And you were also learning how to like stand on your own and be independent and like, look at all this shit. Right. So, it was very healing and very eye-opening for me.
What a great sense of gratitude that you get from such a traumatic situation that you thought it was traumatic when you were younger. Yeah. Like it's like I never thought I would have thanked my father for not being around, that type of thing, you know. It's like, oh yeah, I needed to go through these things to become the person that I am today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've had a very similar, I've done a lot of work, you know, with losing my dad. Obviously, it's been like something very, I focused a lot on that. And it did take me a really long time to stop being angry at the situation and at the world. And to be like, oh, like who in the world would I be if that didn't happen to me, you know, or if that didn't happen in my life. And now it's like when this is why I love this work, because you can go back to those memories. I actually had a session where it was like a hypnotherapy session where we went back to the day that my dad passed away, and I was able to fully shift the memory.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just want to highlight how important this work is, because I used to go back to that memory like subconsciously and feel really shitty and just feel really alone and lost and all abandoned and all this stuff. And now anytime that I think about that, his passing or even just him in general, like I pull on this memory that I've changed, and it makes me happy.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So it's just, it's really important. This work is really, really important.
Hell yeah. The most important for you to show up authentically and for you to just be freaking happy.
That's it.
You know?
It's just about being happy. Like truly.
Yes. On a soul level. Hell yeah. You know, and there's just these different layers and you just got to keep pulling them back.
Yeah.
It's so important.
There's always work to be done. There's always those little memories that you block out that you can't see, you know. It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's like when you do it so much, you get to this point where you're like, all right, I'm ready. Like, what other memory can I unlock and heal? I'm ready for it.
Oh my gosh. Cool. Especially when you got a modality like this that you can just take care of so much in such a small amount of time. You're just like, oh yeah, let's do, like, what else can I clean up? Like, let's keep refining myself like a diamond. Just keep cutting away at it, all the fat off of it.
Yeah. And then you get to just like stand in who you are. Feels so good.
Oh my gosh. I'm proud of you. Very good. Good job, yo.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you killed that.
Thank you. That was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah. Me too. I like seeing someone that's so knowledgeable about it go through it as well. Like you getting in touch with your heart and your intuition, you searching your memories and finding something that you haven't found in such a long time. You talking through it with yourself and, you know, really looking at a different perspective and having that epiphany of that's the secret right there. That's pretty damn cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. And I think it's necessary because I do some of this kind of work with my clients. And how do you walk them through it if you don't know what they're going through, if you don't know how they're trying to access a memory that their mind is blocking them from, you know what I mean? And it's just, you know, it's like I go through this just today now, and I'm like, okay, like this gives me more compassion when I'm even doing this with my clients, because I know that it's not a very easy thing.
No.
So
it's made
you do it very well.
Oh, well, thank you. That's so sweet.
Yeah, you're very patient.
I hope so. I hope it seems
like you kind of have to be, I think, to do this.
100%. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'll tell you some stories. We're gonna wrap this up because I feel like it's like you and I definitely have a divine appointment, but right now I think the people are just waiting, just want to hear one more word of wisdom from you, please.
I would just say, don't be afraid to do the work. Don't be afraid to find yourself. If you feel like you're holding yourself back, and even if you don't know why, seek out people that are doing this work to help you, because even if you don't know that you're stuck, you just don't feel happy, like you have no idea how much weight you're carrying around that can be released. So just don't be afraid of that. Amen. The idea is scarier than actually doing the work.
Always. Yeah. You're the best. Good job, Megan.
Thank you. This was awesome.
Thank you so much for being on the Drop Your Baggage podcast. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all as well for your attention and your support. And here on the Drop Your Baggage podcast, we talk to people that are dope, that can bring you hope and teach you a technique that can help you cope. Please, if you like this, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button if you're on YouTube or Facebook. And if you're on any podcast platform, give a brother 5 stars and some feedback, please. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care of yourself and take care of one another. Peace.